Hello, good day everyone, especially to you sir. I am Jaya Alexis Zainara. Together with me is Mr. Joshua Hangad Nikulan, and we are the first reporter of Group 3. And for the information of everybody, we are now in week 4 to 5 of our lesson. And for today's discussion, we are tasked to discuss the arts during the Spanish period. So for today's lecture, we are about to define what is painting, tackle about the origin and importance of arts during the Spanish era, and talks about what kind of art style Filipino developed during the Spanish colonization. And lastly, the famous Filipino artist and its masterpiece, but we only choose 3 famous personalities as an example. So, what is painting? Painting is the practice of applying color, pigment, or other medium to a surface. It is also defined that painting is the expression of ideas and emotions with the creation of certain aesthetic qualities in a two-dimensional visual language. And the elements of this language are this shape, lines, colors, tones, and lastly the textures. These are used in various ways to produce sensation of volume, space, movement, and light on a flat surface. So that is painting. So next we have arts during the Spanish period. As we all know that the Spanish colonization in the Philippines began in the year 1521 when explorer Ferdinand Magellan came to the island and claimed it as a colony for the Spanish Empire. With a cross and sword, Spaniards extended their empire till 16th century. If you were to ask me nganong unsay connect sa art sa pag-colonize sa Spaniards diri sa Philippines? They are connected because during Spanish colonization, they use art as a tool or visual aid for their religious propaganda to spread Catholicism throughout the Philippines. Following the edict of King Philip in in 1573, towns were established and the people who live in different places were brought together in impact communities. When we say edict, it is an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority, and King Philip II is also known to be the self-proclaimed protector of the Roman Catholic Church. He is the one who sought to limit the spread of Protestantism. Also, people are brought together as one impact community para mas mapadali ang laganap or pag-colonize sa Spaniard diri sa atua ug para mas mapadali ang ilahang pag-spread sa ilahang propaganda, which is the Catholicism. So during this time, the church were built at the center of the town plaza where several religious and symbolic images were kept. Adjacent to the church was the convent, the residence of the Spanish priests, the municipal hall, and the dwelling of important people. The architecture of churches, cathedrals, and civic buildings followed European models, and the construction were closely supervised by the Spaniards. So back then, communication is the main problem of the Spaniard because Filipinos are unable to use and comprehend the Spanish language. Same goes to them. So the religious men of Spaniards, also known as the Spanish friars, they use images to explain the concept behind Catholicism and to tell the stories of Christ's life and passion. The Spaniards also were the one who first introduced us the formal painting and the artistic painting. Images of the Holy Family and the saints were introduced to the Filipino side through carved santos, which is the Via Crucis or the Station of the Cross, engravings on estampas and estampitas. Og musulod ka sa mga Catholic churches, sa cathedrals nila kay makita nimo ning mga carved santos, which is the Station of the Cross na nakapaskil sa ilahang mga walls, and also the mga estampitas and estampas makita nimo ni sulod sa Catholic churches. So, throughout that time, the concept of patronage appeared. And the primary patron of the arts were the church, and the Filipino artisans were paid to carve, engrave, and paint. So, and the Spaniards also replaced the arts that were once done in a communal spirit and community setting for rituals. Since most of the arts produced during the first 2 centuries of Spanish occupation were for the church, the friars or the Spanish priors enforced strict supervisions over their production, and until the 19th century, art was only for the church and religious uses only. So next, during this phase of colonization, the indigenous people living in remote areas were not influenced by the Spanish colonizer. Their ethnic art form and craft were retained and developed in isolation. Because during also this time, the Spanish friars were focused in introducing newer art forms. And the icons brought by the friars were used as models for sculpture. And Filipino artisans were taught by the Chinese to do a brushwork technique in painting. Next, we have art style. So these are the art styles that developed during the Spanish period. And most of these art styles are religious concept or Catholic based only. And I guess it was reported by the previous reporter. So I will proceed for my next slide. So here is an example of Joseph Luciano dance artwork in 1805 to 1870. In the Church of Paete, Laguna, he is one of the earliest recorded painter in the Philippine artwork history. His masterpiece is the Langit, Lupa at Imperno, also known as the Heaven, Earth, and Hell. This is a 3-level painting which shows the Holy Trinity, Mary the Mother of Christ and saints, and the 7 Blessed Sacraments and the macabre depiction of Hell. So those are my topics, and the next slide will be continued by Mr. Joshua Hangad Nikulan.
Good day, everyone. Aside from the artwork with religious themes in the Spanish period, art portraiture also gained importance in the 19th century with the rise of the middle class. So, just like in our generation, we take picture para mahibalan ay para ma-document kung unsa kadako og unsay naa sa ato ang family. And also, we take picture para mabutang nato sa atong wall para mahimo siyang design. And also, sa atong table. So, same lang sila sa 19th century, but ang ilang difference is, ang sa 19th century is, pag magpubuhat kag portrait is, need nimo magbayad sa isa ka artist para buhatan mo portrait sa imong family with your finery and luxurious living. So, ginapabuhat nila ni because they wanted to document ang ilang wealthy living. So, ginabuhat nila ni kay tungod kay gusto nila ma-document ilang wealthy living sa 19th century. And ang example ani is kaning Portrait of Crisamon Family by Simon Flores. So, by the way, mo ni si Simon Flores kaning sa PPT, and next is mo ni si Moning Crisamon Family. So, Simon Flores painted this portrait in miniaturismo or miniaturist style. So, ang miniaturist style is pays attention to the embroidery and the texture of the clothes of the subject. So, as you can see in the picture, the small details of the clothes of the subject is very visible. Basi wala pa nato i-zoom is visible na daan ang ilahang ang ilang small details sa ilang sinina. Pag imo nang i-zoom is mas makita pa jud nimo ang mga pattern sa ilang gisuot. So mao na ang miniaturist style, and mao ni ang example sa art portraiture. So, next slide. And when the post-war period saw the rapid rise and development in the Philippines, the establishment of art galleries introduced visual arts to the populace. So, when we say art gallery, it is a room or a building full of arts na naga-consist of lahi-lahi nga artist. So nga pwede nato ma-tanaw. So sa ato ang diri is nanatay historical. So mo ni siya ang example ang historical. So pag mo tag historical is makita tag different artwork and nga gibuhat sa different artists. So mo to siya ang example. Then Filipino artists, both the traditional and modern, enjoyed big sales of their artwork through one-man exhibition and group show. In one-man exhibition, it may be painting, drawing, collage, sculpture, and photography that is done with one artist, while the group show is an art exhibition that is made up of several artists na naga-consist of 2 to 20 artists. So ang example ani is sa Korea. Sa Korea kay naay group show na ang isa ka painting is gitabangag tulo ka artist para mahuman. So mao na ang example sa group show. And ang reason why consumer buy the artwork of the artist because gusto nila i-design sa ilang house, and ang uban is himoong imong investment, and napoy uban is para maka-help sa ilahang artist friends. Ug napoy uban na ma-amaze lang jud or ma-appreciate nila ang artwork sa isa ka artist, maong mopalit sila. And because ani is makaipon og funds ang artist para makabadayon sa ilahang ginabuhat na artwork. So that ends of our report. Thank you for listening.